they could shift the load to the other substation, or if, you know, one goes out, they could shift the, take power from the other substation.
Okay.
Me and John just talked, like on some of the corners, there's already existing poles. He said they'll just drill right beside it, put a new pole, and then they'll concrete over where the old pole was at. I'm confident they'll do everything they say. There's a couple of places where there might be some drains, but he said anything they find, if they tear up something, they'll fix it back. None of the poles are gonna go right in front of somebody's house, or all either in between a house or something like that, or to replace an existing post.
Anybody got a question for any of these fine gentlemen?
What's the approximate schedule of the?
Work is scheduled to start, if approved, it will be scheduled to start at the first of the second quarter and will run through the first of the fourth quarter.
Anybody else have a comment or question? Bo, you have something?
No, I was just.
Bill Smith?
Well, how's it gonna affect the flow of traffic for their?
Should not
Well,
affect, should not affect traffic much. They can work everything from the edge of the road, which of course on Chester Avenue, it's a very wide street. They'd be able to set the trucks all the way to the side and work from the edge of the road with coned off trucks.
Okay.
And with everywhere they're putting them, it's on our right of way, so it's not like they're going to somebody's yard, they're on, within our right of way.
All right. Anybody else have a question? If not, gentlemen, we'll let you get to the house early, and we sure appreciate you all coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to number 3. Everything's numbered again, so if you will look at pages 3 through 7, approval of the minutes, I'll give you about 30 seconds or so
So moved.
to take a look at that.
You know I had to do that.
I know you did. We do have a motion, but we'll wait a couple more seconds. Anybody got a correction or anything?
That's an official record. So don't do it.
All right.
Second.
Okay, we do have a second. All in favor, please say, approving these minutes, say aye. Aye. All right, let's go on to number 4. These are another set for a special call meeting we had. They are on pages 8 and 9. Do we have a motion to approve those?
I'll make a motion.
All right.
Second.
All right. Has anybody got a correction on any of those? That's number 4, item number 4, folks. All right, I need, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Let's look at number 5. This is your bills. And we appreciate Sandy on this. These utility bills, her and Kathleen's teamed up on those. Your regular bills are page 10 through 38. That's each department. Might be a mistake in there every once in a while, we don't know, but, you know, everybody's subject to do that. And then the utility bills, I really like those. I've got some that I put some question marks by. 39 through 45, that's all of our electric, that's all of our gas, natural gas bills, it's everything. And that really helps me. It helps me determine, you know, if we've got maybe some problems somewhere, but you know, we've got a lot of street lights, I do know that. Danny's going to help us with those. If you look on page 13, before Glenna finds something here.
Judy, too.
Okay.
Take you down with her.
On page 13, you will notice there is an account for Tim Short Automotive for $822. That was to fix one of Kevin's trucks. But the good thing about that, Kevin had the idea that even though it was out of warranty, it was close enough that maybe Dodge would help us, and they give us a reimbursement of $822 for that. So that repair cost us $0, just by making a couple of phone calls. So Kevin, we appreciate that very much, you doing that. Now let's go to Judy.
I just had a question about page 14, the very last item. What was the grant, the AFG grant? What is that? Fire truck?
That's the firefighter grant, Mayor.
Oh, okay. So it's in the amount of 400?
That's to the grant writer that's having us write it.
Oh, okay. All right, all right.
So make a note on that down at the bottom, January grant writer.
Thank
Not
you.
Grant Wilson, but grant writer. Okay. All right, Glenna.
Okay, page 7, let's see, page 17. Waste Connections, I think Judy had this one too. Utilities, $226. Is that, can we have a particular location on that?
City Hall.
That one's City Hall?
It's our dumpster.
Oh, it's a dumpster, that's what we thought, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. And who else has a question or
Wait,
comment?
no, just a minute.
Now, you're supposed to have these when you come in, not just go through them.
I know, okay, on page, let's see here a minute. Judy, you wanna do the one for the Kentucky, the
I'll make a
insurance?
note on that, ask Sandy about that.
The insurance?
Yeah.
Yeah, is
Okay.
it annual? Is that an annual payment?
That's actually
Page
about 3
24.
months worth.
It's
No,
all
our,
in.
our insurance altogether is about 400,000.
Yeah,
3 years.
okay,
Page
We're paying
24.
it in installments instead of all at once.
okay,
That's more than 1 month.
all right.
Okay, what?
And then page 25 up there at the top, water service again, the January bill, $2,400. Do we know a location on that?
That's page 25, folks. the very
25, page
top
25
one.
at the top of the page. You just,
I had that one.
Help us, sir, Sandy, or
Or do you-
we're going
is
to look
that-
that one up.
That one I'll have to
We
look
thought
up.
that might be fire hydrants,
Is it- I don't know if
possibly?
No, fire hydrants is
that'd be
listed
over on
in
the,
the.
that'd be over the
okay.
fire department, I guess.
We will make a
Okay.
note of that and get
Okay.
what that is.
And, okay,
Does she
and
have it
down-
on that?
okay. And down at the bottom, on 25, Edward Rader, Tim Rader, legal fees, what, remind me what that is?
Tim is a building
Building inspector,
inspector,
that's right,
and
okay.
Tim, our
Okay.
Tim is getting,
Yes,
going to school to get his license, but until
Gotcha.
then, we have to have someone that's actually got the paperwork, so Tim has graciously agreed to do that. So,
Okay.
so we're gonna make a note, now, if you'll look for
On
the.
page
The
35.
Bill.
2708.
Uh-huh.
Do what now?
If you look at the
water
page
on the
45 for the
45 on there?
2708,
Okay. Is that what it is?
that's the breakdown of what that 2708
Okay,
covers.
all right, I
On
couldn't
page
correspond
45.
those two together, okay.
That's administrative utilities, it looks like, and recreational
Yes,
utilities.
yes.
So that total is.
Okay.
All right, all right.
And then on page 35, to Tar Chevrolet, and Sandy explained that to me, we were getting reimbursed through insurance on that $16,000
Right.
bill.
Yeah, so we had a problem with the fuel system with that one,
Yes.
and our insurance or the warranty, they graciously, Chief, was that 100% reimbursement or pretty close?
I think it was just minus the $500 deductible.
Okay.
And it come out pretty good on it, so.
That's good. Who else has a question on the bills?
That's all. That's
Terry,
all.
what do you got?
On page 19, there's $632 for maybe tires, for Brooks Tire Service. And
19.
19,
And then, that was on the 10th, and then on the 13th, there's the exact same amount again.
oh, yeah.
Now, Tom is not, I was expecting Chief Busick to be here tonight, but if I'm not mistaken, Brooks has got the state bid contract, so that is replacement for patrol cars.
That was my next question, about buying them in town.
And we did buy a used patrol car, and it had not rated for, the police. So we had to take the tires off and buy the ones that the police approve. And they have a certain rating number on them, so. Who else has a question or comment? All right, well, as it refers to item number 5, ladies and gentlemen, I need a motion to approve the city bills as paid.
So moved.
We have a second. Any other questions before we take a roll call on it? All right, Sandy?
Philip Ball.
Aye.
Boone Bowling. Glenna Brown.
Aye.
Alan Farmer.
Aye.
Judy Grandy.
Aye.
Bo Green.
Aye.
Jesse Moberg.
Aye.
Terry Porter.
Aye.
Bill Smith.
Aye.
All right, number 6, we did this last year about this time. This is the money we get from the state off the gasoline tax that can be used for anything from street equipment to salaries for the street department and for blacktopping. Now, we didn't use any money for blacktopping last year. So we'll have a little extra money for this year, and they don't give you the whole amount. We're getting $6,000 more this year than we did last year, and they give it to you in, I think, 3 installments. We also have 3% of that taken out in case we have an emergency. We can tap into a fund from the state through the co-op program and actually potentially get a little bit more money. It's like having an insurance policy on something. So do we have any questions or comments? We do have to approve this. I have to sign it. We have to send it to Frankfurt saying that we will honor that commitment like we did last year. Take a look at it if you need to, just a second. And
What's it say? Which one? It's not, yeah, but.
all right, do we have a motion to
I
accept?
have a question on page 48, number 6. So this is to be used for construction, reconstruction, and maintenance of city streets, down at the bottom.
Okay.
Is that right?
That's one part of the agreement,
One
yes.
part of it, but there's other
I
things we
think you
can,
could probably put in there.
we can use on there, okay. all right.
Yeah, you can use it for salaries or equipment.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
And this is more of a general question.
how much is it?
Our budget, I think, we allotted doesn't match the agreement. Do we need to back up and change that next meeting?
I
Make
think-
that match, or?
We've got a couple of things that we may have to do some budget amendments on.
Right, okay.
So I think it would be good to maybe, if we got two or three, just
Okay.
try to do them, but, and we need to bring them in the committee too.
Right, it does.
Let everybody know
I
what
just
we're
noticed they
doing.
didn't match exactly, but that's typical.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Good.
Philip, did you give us a motion on number 6? I can't remember. Okay. I need a motion.
So moved.
Okay. Who has a second on that? All right, we need a roll call on that one.
Philip Ball.
Aye.
Boone Bowling. Glenna Brown.
Aye.
Alan Farmer. Judy Grandy.
Aye.
Bo Green.
Aye.
Jesse Moberg.
Aye.
Terry Ford. Bill Smith.
Aye.
Item number 7, we really don't have any committee reports for tonight. Ms. Matheny, was you wanting to say anything about the history?
Well, the History Society set me down to thank you all
Okay.
and bring me a check.
Oh, you're gonna bring us a check? Okay, then.
I guess you all know that we run a museum in Charles Building, which is our new library building. And we're in the dead of winter, the kids came out. And within moments, it seemed like, we all got it fixed, brand new. And we don't have much money as we go back, dues and donations, but we have half of the cost of it for you. Thank you.
Boone, would you help Ms. Matheny accept that check for us, please? Please.
Okay, and I guess you all get the gateway, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
They sit me down with.
Oh, okay.
I'll leave it here in case
Okay.
somebody, wants, somebody in the audience wants one, or no one get an extra one now.
Thank you.
We do appreciate your all support. I think, the museum does bring in several hundred out-of-state visitors. In the last 2 months, we got somebody from Japan, somebody from Israel, someone from England, Middlesbrough, England, and even somebody from, of all places, Brazil.
Do you see many people that come in to touch the meteor that's here in Middlesboro?
Well, we have an exhibit, and it's the only place that you can see an exhibit of the meteorite. I mean,
Well, part of the meteor's up there at the Middlesboro Country Club.
well, yes, we've never sent somebody out there, but we really need to do more with talking about ground zero.
I didn't know what that was. I thought it was just plain old rock, not being a scientist and everything. But I was up there one day playing golf, and I noticed some of these people from Japan. There was like 5 or 6 of them. They was taking pictures and measuring it. And I thought, so finally I went in and talked to the person in the golf course. I said, in the clubhouse, I said, what are they doing? They said, well, that's part of the meteor. There's another place here in Middlesboro where you can actually see the meteor, and I forgot where they said that is. Somebody else
Well, I
probably
don't
knows.
think you see the meteor itself. It probably
Yeah, you can touch it.
but
You can touch
see
it.
the rock formation. Form, but, I mean, we all know what a fantastic place Middlesbrough is. But it's truly unique. So
Are you-
anyway, we thank you
Yes,
all,
ma'am.
and if you haven't been to the museum, you can come back and see what we're doing.
It's a very fine museum if you've not been there. It's very, they switch it out. And a couple of notes here. I want to give a shout out to Graham Heating and Air. Now, all of our heat people are good, but Graham beat all the other estimates by $1,200. So this check here is for $1,750, and it will pay half of what we paid. And we certainly appreciate it, Ms. Matheny, very much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's go on to number 8. Josh Campbell, our sewer plant operator, was not able to be here, but Bill Smith is going to give a very brief update on sewer.
I am. Well, first of all, I'd like to apologize to the ones I was supposed to give a sewer tour of the sewer plant. We haven't gotten to that yet. but hopefully here within the week, we can do that. And one of the reasons why we wanted to do the tour, simply because Josh, he's out of sight and out of mind. Most folks don't even know where the sewer plant is, let alone what it does. And I like to put it just in short terms, that when you're at home in your private place and you reach back and hit that little lever behind you, then that's the only thing you worry about. Of course, that's when the function starts. And Josh, happened to be the gentleman that makes sure that that's functioning correctly. He's dealing with a sewer plant that's got some age on it and it breaks. And when it breaks, you don't fix it with no $200 or $300. A common piece can run anywhere from $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 just to repair it. So if you've never been and never seen the sewer plant, get a hold of Josh and he'll give you a walkthrough. You won't see anything gross, but he will give you the walkthrough of the plant, and hopefully Josh will start coming to our council meetings in the future.
Okay. Give you an update on our $1 million grant we got. It's since the federal budget has been passed, that money has been moved down to USDA, and the wheels are finally turning on that. We're applying for another $350,000 grant. We had to come on Valley Ad up here doing that, and we had to go through some hoops on that. So federal government is slow. We were told initially that they would start construction right now. Now they're saying in the fall construction will start, but we do have a lot of other things that we need to do. We probably need to build a third, what's the term there, Bill? That round.
Clarifier.
Okay, clarifier.
Yeah, clarifier.
Yeah, we probably need to think about building another one of them because our plant is right at maximum right now. So we need to do that. Okay, very good. Let's go down to, and I'm a little bit worried about Chief Busick. He promised to be here, and he's usually in pretty good about his word, so we'll check on him and make sure he's okay. He is on crutches now, and so you can look at the police report if you want to, and let me see what page that police report is on. Looks like it's, what is it, 55? Yeah, 55.
55 to 57.
Yeah, 55 through 57. One thing that Chief Busick did find, it was kind of amazing. We had 5 police cars that had never been registered with the city. They were still registered in the name of the people we bought them from. So when he was doing an inventory, he found 5 of them that were owned by people from Lexington all throughout the area, but we switched all that over now, and Middlesboro owns those 5 police cars officially. So, all right.
That's what happens when you don't get the paperwork.
That's right. Let's go to the fire department. Chief, you ready to? And of course, the fire department report, if you will look on page 54, looks like. Yeah. This report has all the out-of-town trips, the responses, and the training hours, so it's very informative. But Chief, what do you got for us?
Well, we've got a basic monthly report that looks, sort of similar to every one of them we turn in. We kind of do the same thing month in, month out. The out-of-town runs were down just a little bit in January, but that's kind of normal. If I look back over the last 3 years, they dropped about the same rate, so nothing to be alarmed about there. Our billing seems to be up and running good on it, so our revenues coming in look like they're staying pretty level to the years in past, so we're not losing no ground there. I just want to touch on the smoke alarm program right now. We've been at that at a full head of steam for the last couple of weeks, and we've already put near 80 of them in. See anybody who needs one, anybody out there, all we got to do is call the fire department at 248-4683. We'll be happy to schedule it at their convenience to get out and get those things installed. They're for anybody who needs them, just let us know and we'll get out and take care of them.
Chief, you had one unusual fire. You might want to tell them about the ones for the, is it hard of hearing and things?
Yes, we've also got for anybody out there who's hearing impaired, or if you know anybody, a neighbor or anything, it's called a bed shaker alarm. This thing goes under your pillow, under your mattress, wherever you decide to put it at, you know, to your level of being aroused by that. It activates off of the smoke alarm. Smoke alarm goes off, if you're hearing impaired, you're not going to hear that. It activates this bed shaker that sits there and vibrates to wake you up. They're quite expensive, but they're free of charge. Just if you need them, don't hesitate to get us out there to get those put in. It takes us a little longer to order those in because we have to do the paperwork on it. You have to show that you do have a need for it. So if you got a need for that, or you know a neighbor or family, please send them in our direction. We'd love to get out and put some of those in for them. What we started on this week, we got out today and we've done some building pre-planning and inspections. We started out with the Cardinals building, the old J.C. Penney's building, you would know, on the corner of Cumberland and 20th Street. We did the Park building, which is about the whole block from Chester Avenue down on 20th Street. And we did the Middlesboro-Bell County Public Library while we was there. So we've got 3 of them, which we just gathered a bunch of data for today. Now we've got to sit down and put this all into a training form that we can recognize and train off of in case we have to respond to one of those buildings, that we can mitigate their situation a whole lot more effective. I will say I thought those buildings would be, that I would just be really shocked when I walked in them. They're not as bad as I thought they was. The fire load in them is quite heavy. We're going to talk to the business owners, and they was more than gracious to allow us to come in, walk through with us, made anything that we needed to see, they made it available for us to see. Was very appreciative of them. I think there's a few things that on this recommendation they'll be able to take care of pretty easily. Some of it's just going to be time. Some of these buildings have got material in them from remodels from who knows how far back. And we just need those out of there. We just need to fuel those out. If it's unnecessary, it's just rubbish and don't need to be there. We just need them out of the building and not create a problem on down the road. I know with both of the property owners at the Park building and at the J.C. Penney's building, is their biggest concern or their biggest thing is because I asked them about cleaning some of them up. And they can't find nobody that wants to work to do that. Yeah, there's work available out here. Maybe if we can get on one of our websites, city website, whatever, and kind of connect these two together, maybe that'd be something. And Lord, I don't want to put no work on nobody, but maybe the chamber, maybe downtown Discovery, if you could get these two connected, we could get some of this mitigated and took care of pretty easily. I know as a younger man, I would have enjoyed stripping some of them buildings out and looking through the stuff because you get kind of nostalgic in it. The Park building, I don't know if anybody's ever been in there recently. It's not near as bad as I thought it was. It's a pretty solid, intact building that could be put to great use in this city. The back part of that, when you walk up, it kind of looks like you're walking into a Perry Mason movie. You know, you got the old wooden doors with the office road on it and this little header light above it letting you in. It's history. We don't want to lose it. I'm not a big history guy on these things, but when I got in there, I can remember the standing in line at that Park Theater to go in. This too nice of a building to let sit there and go to waste. So if we can assist these property owners, we need to do what we can. Other than that, that's about what my week and month's been tied up with. Now, we was out there probably from 10:30 till right around 1:30, and that was just a fraction of the time. There'll be time that we'll set hours at the building going through this data and putting it into a useful form for us. I would like to reach out to the business owners, property owners in town and let them know we need to hit every building in town. Every commercial building we need to be in. We need to look and see what our guys is going into at 2 o'clock in the morning in a bad situation, you know. And we learn a lot by being in these buildings today. So it's definitely not a waste of time. It's a big effort, and if we can mitigate these problems now, it just saves us a workload in the future at that 3 o'clock in the morning.
Chief, can you give us a brief update on, you were out during the flood too, you made, helped several people, I believe, didn't you?
Yeah, we was out quite a bit during the flood, especially, I believe it started on the Wednesday night, run through Thursday pretty good before the water started going down. We had several rescues, which was in immediate danger. Couple on cars in the outlying areas of town, and we're going to assist the rescue squad when we can. They do us, and that's what mutual aid is we help each other with that. These are our folks, so if they're outside the city limits somewhat and we've got the resources available, that's what we're going to do. I think if I looked at my numbers right, we got 2 out of cars stranded that was in a pretty bad situation. We got 7 out of 1 house that was becoming extreme. And then I think a total of 17 that we just helped move to a safer, drier area. Pretty good day and night's work, and people was real appreciative of it. I appreciate the Red Cross coming in. I enjoyed getting out and working with them and taking them around to show them the damage and trying to get assistance for these folks. One thing we need to look at is, I'm going to throw a little bit of information in for the Bell County Rescue Squad. Those people are lifesavers. If you are unfortunate to have a motor vehicle accident and you're trapped in that vehicle, they're the ones who's coming. We can't get you out of that vehicle. They're going to be the ones that come with the hydraulic tools that cuts this vehicle apart and get you out. They're extremely low, and volunteers assisting in that. Anytime you see something that you could help them with through fundraisers, that's what they operate off of. They're not paid. They get out and they knock door to door. They get some assistance from the city and from the city of Pineville, I believe, but $30,000 in their tools does not go far. And we really need to support that outfit and get them up to par as well as we do the rest of the city. They do an outstanding job for what they do, but just for that flood alone, they lost a truck, they lost a Zodiac boat, so that's equipment probably in the neighborhood of $60,000 or $70,000, and they're going to have to replace those. We're hoping FEMA comes through with that. If they do, we're in good shape, you know, or they're in good shape. A lot of our guys at our department are starting to blend in and also volunteering at the Bell County Rescue Squad. That's been a great help to them. Maybe if I was 30 again, I'd try that, but at 54, I'll go help them where I can. But if you know any young gentleman who wants to get in this, they need them down there. It's really a helpful cause, and it's a good cause.
Okay, anybody have a question or comment for the chief? All right, thank you, Chief.
I'd like to touch on one thing, on the grant that, you know, you've asked on that. The grant writer is Jeff Hensley. He's out of, I guess it'd be Tennessee, out between the lakes. He lives right there on the Kentucky-Tennessee border. We got in touch with him through some of our suppliers like Stryker Equipment, and they suggested that we get in contact with him. So I made a trip out there and had to sit down with him one day and chatted with him. He was willing to help us write this grant if we gather the information and get it to him at a real cheap price. We wrote 2 grants. I think total of it is around $1,200 his part. Most grant writers will charge you $2,000 to $3,000 per grant, plus 3, 4, 5% of what you receive. So if the grants we wrote is going to total around $600,000. If you pray for it, if we get that, we need them. But he's not going to take no percentage. He's just taking his initial up front, and I appreciate that from him. So, other than that, y'all got any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them.
And I think Brian is going to help with that building. He's going to have the drone, maybe have a flyover for the city so you can take a look at the rooftops.
Yeah, that'll be part of our pre-planning. He's going to take rooftop pictures for us, so we'll have the rooftop angle of the view, you know, the building. We can use this in training, setting up for the place trucks for any building. It's going to be a big helpful tool when we get this, but it ain't an overnight thing. Pre-planning the entire city, the commercial buildings, and getting us up to par on that is just going to be diligent, time-consuming, staying after it and getting it, but we'll get there.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Kevin?
I'd just like to give you some updates on the flooding problem. We really didn't have a lot of problems with the roads. Water just kind of come up and went down. Our problem's been with our sewer lines that crosses creeks. we had a couple of them must have big logs or something hit them, and we've got 3 different locations we've got sewer line problems. And it would take big equipment to replace them. We couldn't do it by ourselves. Me and Ben Barnett's gonna go around tomorrow and look at all those. He's gonna report directly to FEMA, so I'm gonna show him all those. We went out last week with FEMA, and Robbie helped me when we went to houses that was in flood and gave them, got all their information, and gave them some cleaning supplies they needed to add or anything they needed. But FEMA's got a few new guidelines on stuff. Like if it touches the air conditioning ductwork, that applies. In a mobile home trailer, if it even touches the bottom of the floor, it can be ruled in on FEMA. But I'll take Ben around tomorrow and get him anything like that. But mainly, I mean, I thought we were pretty well blessed that we just had a few sewer line problems and not no major like the county's having in other places in the county. We finished up our work in Forge Woods Park on our grant. We had to get the 3 sites prepped for the pour and play mulch, rubber mulch. We got it done, and we're helping the concert Levette stage. They got a grant too. It goes through. A walkway will be with that material, so we're finishing that up tomorrow, and then that puts the ball in their court. We're done with our part now. They got to finish it up. They got to have 3 consecutive days of above 45 degree weather. So I don't think they'll get it here in February, but at least it's out of our hands and it's on to somebody else to get it done. I'm tickled with that. That's been a nightmare out there in Forest Woods. If you've ever been out there, it's pretty wet in a lot of places.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I just wanted to thank the police department, the fire department during the flood. Robbie helped us. The police department helped us once we got all our road closed signs out. You had to continually monitor them because the water kept coming up, so we didn't lose none of our barrels and none of our signs. And police chief Buick had his guys that if we couldn't get to them quick enough, they would pull them back and keep pulling them back until the water would quit rising. So I really want to thank them. They really helped us out a lot. And Robbie going with me, he's seen more of the different places that got flooded, and he really helped me taking some people and showing them the FEMA, and got that took care of.
Anybody got a question for?
I got one.
Yes, sir, Terry.
It may not be related necessarily for Kevin, but I saw in the paper, I guess, Corps Engineers was going to do some dredging.
They are.
Saw
Up at-
that.
Yellow Creek Bridge,
Yeah, up
what
by,
area?
it's up at the middle school. The Main Creek there over to Winchester. They're gonna dredge all that again. And the way they told me, they asked us places, the sites to dump their material, and the state's giving us some places they can dump. They told me they're just gonna go as far as till the money runs out.
I think you said 1 point something
Oh,
miles.
it was way up into a million metric tons of material. But if you've ever been up there and looked, it's really,
Yeah, it's getting, yeah,
it's really bad.
it's been a while.
And the reason they're doing that and the other creeks that's the canal, the court takes care of that. That's why that's getting done, and maybe the other creeks ain't. It's getting done like they want it, but that's the reason that part's getting done. That's Corps' responsibility.
Who else has a question for Kevin?
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Tim, got codes enforcement. And folks, if you're following along, it looks like 58, 59 maybe. So Tim, what have you got for us?
It should be the minutes of our January 7th meeting, should be included in your packages. The next meeting date for the Code Enforcement Board is March the 3rd, the first Tuesday of each month at 1 o'clock. Couple of things we've been dealing with in the last 4 to 6 weeks has been policy issues, more so policy issues than they were enforcement type things. We do have the abandoned vehicle policy. We've met the last 2 days with the towing and storage service operators in the city, and we'll probably finalize all those policies by the end of the week. So when you should see the yellow stickers start flying all over the city. After that, we've got those in hand, and we will record each one of those. We've been trying to warn people that you're not going to, move it 10 foot down the road and think that's going to take care of business. It's not going to. They have to be placed in the backyards or in the side yards behind privacy fences, and they still can't violate any other ordinances, nuisance ordinances of the city. We do have 15 invoices that have been completed on the recent demolitions, and we still have to add the cost of the fines, and we should hopefully have those out by the end of the month. Once those get mailed to the 15 landowners, they will have 30 days to pay those invoices, and if that doesn't work, well then we go to the clerk's office and report a lien. So that's the next step on the process of demolition. Decent weather is quickly upon us, and we're going to start back with the building inspections. We haven't really quit the building inspections, but we're going to speed up the process a little bit more with the building inspections and be back in full force at the start of the first of the month. And anybody that has any assistance that they can give us, they can call the Codes Enforcement Office at 248-5670, and extension 110 will get you into Diane's office, and then she knows where we're at. If we're not there, she will get us a message. But I can say that we keep asking for the people to call us instead of calling you all. They need to call us, give us all the details. We had one situation today where we've been asked about a tag-along trailer, and by the description that I got over the phone, couldn't find it, so we really need a callback number when things like that happen to us. So we really need to talk to those people instead of you all. But and you
I can't give them any information.
Pardon me?
I can't give them any information. No, I mean, I don't mean it the wrong way. I'm just saying, because you know more about it. I mean, I try to refer them all to your office.
Well, we get several calls a day, and we try to get out on every one of them just as quick as we can. Sometimes we have meetings that get in the way.
Okay. Tim, do you have anything else?
That's it.
Who has a question for Tim? Bill, you have anything?
Nothing?
You know what's funny is I've had several people call me, and they said they've talked to you, and then they call me and I said, hey, I'm not on that board. They need to talk to you. I refer them back to your office. I'm sure everybody else has had the same thing too.
Well, when they see us out, they're automatically going to, and that's okay. I don't mind doing it.
No, I don't mind talking to people.
All right, let's go to number 9. Thank you, Tim. We need a motion to enter in all the written reports and oral reports.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. All right, let's go on to item number 10. Do we have anybody that's chair or otherwise got any committee reports?
I'll give a finance report.
All right.
During last week's committee reports, the mayor gave a very good budget update, and we are in very good shape for about 6 months in on this year's budget, so I want y'all to know that. We also are getting a small amount of money from Datamax. That's our company that's collecting income for us from the businesses. We are very good about having our old garbage debt paid. We've still got a few more payments on that, and that will be over. And then our audit, are working on the audits. We received our 2017 draft audit today in the email. Not had time to review that yet, but we'll be reviewing that, and then we'll have the audit after we get that information from the auditor. So that's finance.
Okay. Anybody else have that's a chair, or doesn't matter if you're chair?
I'll give a quick statement on community development. Just, I've been emailing back Kentucky League of Cities, the attorney that works with us, Chris Johnson, to get some more information on updating some of our ordinance, so we should start be able to work on that in the next month or so. So be on the lookout for that committee.
Okay, good deal. Who else? Okay, let's go to number 11, please. Anybody from the public want to address the council? Joan, please come forward.
Okay, I just would like to invite anyone and everyone to attend the ribbon cutting and grand opening for the Crater of Hope. This is a 501c3 with the object of drug prevention, and helping people in recovery. And that grand opening will be on March 16th at 11:30 to 1, and that's at 149 North 28th Street. That's what was the Cornerstone or the Red Nam Lodge. So we'd like for you to come and attend.
Okay, John, thank you. I wish that maybe we had some of most of our council, I know they're working and stuff, it's tough for them to get away, so maybe they could do some ribbon cuttings of the evening or something, so, but that's just a thought, you know. All right, who else has a comment or question? Come on up, Angela.
I'm back again because of your words of encouragement telling me not to give up on the needle exchange program. And I found out that 2 people on the council are for the needle exchange and possibly another person. All we need is 5 people to vote to have the program here, to host the program in Middlesboro. Now you guys have all done wonderful work, really, including even some of you that I didn't have a lot of confidence in before. You done great things for the city, for buildings, for roads, for all kinds of things. But we need you to step up for the least among us, for the people who are victims of drug addiction, their children, grandmothers, grandfathers, people who didn't start this. As you know, for 30 or 40 years, the big pharma has hooked Bell County on drugs, and now they call it a disease. It's not a disease, it's wealthy people exploiting our heritage, our people, our young people that could have been somebody. And this doesn't just include poor people, they're wealthy people, people of privilege, whose children have become victims of this drug epidemic. And we need you to step up and support the needle exchange program here at the health department. The health department has been here traditionally for disease control, for syphilis, for gonorrhea, for AIDS, hepatitis, all these things. Traditionally, the health department has been here for disease control for people who couldn't afford to go to doctors, who couldn't afford to hide maybe their indiscretions that might cause problems, for their children, to take care of the people, the least among us. That's what the health department's been for hundreds of years, 100 years or more. And some people say, well, we don't want it in our neighborhood, like in Pineville. They don't want it in their neighborhood. Well, governments many years ago decided where the health department should be. In the center of town, where it was convenient for people who came from out of the counties, from into the towns. It's a public service for the public. And if you're not going to support this program, I feel like that each and every one of you who doesn't want to do it should have the conviction and the respect for the community to each and every one of you say why you will not support it. To step up and say why you would not do that. Because it's not fair, it's not right, it's for disease control. And you've been educated on it. To say that this would not be of benefit to the community for any, and forgive me for saying this, for any public servant would be ignorant, and it would be them being derelict of their duty to not consider it and to do the right thing toward this community. Now the mayor's given me words of encouragement. He told me to try, to keep trying, and he told me about a fella that tried for 20 years to get him to vote for something in the legislature, and he finally did it. I hope it don't take 20 years to do this with you guys. And I understand that it's sort of like a pinochle game. The county government says no, the Pineville government says no, you guys say no, and each one of you are saying it's like a vicious, cruel circle of disrespect and disgrace to say, well, I won't do it if this one don't do it. If this one don't do it, then I won't do it. And it's like a shell game. It's a con game, and it's a way to get out of your responsibility. Don't be like the rest of the county. You're better than that, and you should step up for the people in your community, the people you represent. Thank you very much. I'll see you next month.
Thank you, Angela. Ms. Matheny?
But I would like to second Angela.
Okay.
I sat in the health department health board, which is our doctors and veterinarians, and listened to them debate this a year and a half ago. It took them a half an hour to talk about it, to agree that this was important for our county, not for the drug addicts, but for all the other people who are put at risk for AIDS and for Hep C and all the things that can happen. So we have to get over, we're thinking it's just drug addicts or it's just terrible people. But they're
Okay. Thank you. Who else wants to speak before we go on to council comments? Yes, ma'am. Come on up.
Oh, we forgot to address her comment. We better go back and do that.
My name is Romel Johnson, and I have some concern about the proposed outline for the abandoned vehicle procedure. I'm concerned about the liability for the city. One of the things is that, say for instance, the codes enforcement officer goes out, puts a sticker on my car, and I'm such a nice person. I'm going to go out and I'm going to take out my battery, I'm going to take out my GPS, I'm going to take out my radio, and so then they're going to come back and put another sticker on my car. All right, when I go to pick it up in impoundment, I'm going to say, well, my things are missing. Now, the city and the record service is going to say, well, we didn't have keys to get in. But then I'm going to say, the record service and the police have a way to get into the vehicle. So now, what is the liability? You're saying that the record service will sign a form and say that they're responsible. But also, would the city also be liable in the fact that you did authorize the record service to come and pick up that vehicle? So I think that there should be some kind of provision, and I don't know what language, but to protect the city in case there is something missing from that vehicle. The other thing that I want to know is, is that the code enforcement officer is going to take a picture initially when he goes to see the vehicle. Then when he goes back to put the sticker on, he's going to take another picture. I would suggest also that at the time the record service comes, he takes a picture. And also when the record service delivers it to impoundment. Because that way, if there is any problem, any dents, anything that is damaged, the city will not be liable. So now if you do not protect yourself, I'm suggesting that you might be liable. So I think that there are some issues that need to be addressed in that proposal.
Tim, do you have any comment initially on her?
Well, as part of the discussion that we've had in the last couple of days with the towing outfits, they are required to carry liability insurance. We're going to take pictures as they're removing the vehicle from the premises. And once they lock onto it, then it becomes their liability.
Yep.
The city is relieved of all liability at that time. But we will document, what condition the vehicle was in when we ask them to hook up to it.
And if I'm not mistaken too, after you put that initial sticker on, we send them a certified letter, hopefully to give them a...
The other thing is, and it's like I say, when we first put the sticker on there, they can have it removed themselves. And if we go back out there in 7 days and it's gone, well, we're through with it. it doesn't affect us anymore unless it shows up somewhere else. It's not supposed to show up. What was the other question?
Well, the other thing was, I'm saying is, if I was a person and you put a sticker on my car, I could go in and take everything out that's important.
Right.
When I go back to pick it up and impound it, then I could say, the record service did something, stole my parts, the city stole my parts, and you're gonna have a liability because of the fact
No.
that they will say, you have, the vehicle to enter my vehicle, the record service, the city police does, so you're gonna have another liability for that vehicle. The other thing is that, as you said, you're taking a picture when the record picks it up. But I'm saying you also need a picture when they actually impound it, because something could happen. You know, somebody could hit it, they could bump it. If you don't have a picture when they actually impound that vehicle, take it and let it go, then they can always say that you've done something else. But my point is, if the city, you know, if you want to, you should take care of that liability. If you're not, you can, even though they're signing a form for that, they can also sue you as well as the record service.
No.
I'll send your concerns to our city attorney too, to make sure we follow up on that and double check all that for you, because that's good suggestions too. But we'll make sure he reviewed it and he helped Tim write the policy, but I'll follow up with Blake.
And we do have in the towing agreement.
Right.
There's a 3-page document of certain steps that they have to jump through. And then, I think as the mayor asked a minute ago, we are required at that time, when we do a citation, we're required at that time to notify the land or the property owner where that vehicle is being towed to, where it's been towed from, and how they need to go through the procedure to get it back if they want to get it back. And we have to send that certified mail within 10 days. We have to discover if there's any prior lien holders where they may have sold the title of that car for some reason, but it's still in their name and hasn't been recorded at the courthouse. And then we also have to notify them when the 45 days is up that we're going to sell the vehicle.
Okay, you said a prior lien holder, suppose that the person has a lien on a current lien, like a finance company.
I can hear
You
it.
also notify them.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We're required by, I don't have the KRS number right in front of me right now, but it requires these certain steps that we have to jump through. And that outline, that proposal that we have done is taken, paraphrased out of that law, where it talks about in item number 13, if they have medicine in the cars or something, we have to give that back to them. If they have their personal cell phone in there, we have to give that back to them. Any of those things, and the towing services are going to sign that service agreement with us that says they understand that they may be people coming and asking them for some of that stuff back. Yes.
Okay, one other thing that I want to add to that paragraph number 13 that you were mentioning, you might want to consider, because you have just specific items, there may be an item that comes up that you do not list. And
Right.
you may say, or any other determined relevant items.
Right, and the KRS specifies those certain things, but then it also specifies, any personal items where there might be personal information, social security numbers or anything like that. We have to give them a checkbooks back, anything of that nature, we have to give it back to them.
Okay, and what I'm saying is, you're reciting what KRS says, but what I'm saying is, there may be another item that is not listed that may come up, so in case nobody else has to go back to this ordinance, and you will say, okay, you can determine then if that is a relevant item that they need to receive.
Oh, yeah,
So if you say.
I'm certain that the towing services will call me, and if it makes sense, we'll make sure they get whatever it is that gets back.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Anybody else want to speak? All right. Yes, sir, Brian.
Is there a possibility that the city could remeasure the distance between the bottom of the trestle and the asphalt.
Yes, we can.
That leads into my
I'm asking you a
question.
serious question.
I know you are.
Because I'm wondering if, in the last couple of years that area's been paved, was it milled first? Is that measurement on the right and left side in big yellow signs accurate at 13 feet with the asphalt that's been put down there recently? And if so, I know it's a state highway. I get they're going to have state approval to do that. Is there any way we can find some way to contact maybe a GPS company so that these truckers who rely on GPS alone instead of looking at these big yellow signs and the 1-year code can have some kind of direction so we don't keep having crunch time on Cumberland Avenue?
Well, I think our first step should be contact the state, Kevin, and to make sure that that is remeasured. And on the other issue, Brian, I wouldn't know how to address it. Maybe you could give us some recommendations for companies. The big issue, and we've talked about this for a year, and I'll tell you again, 2 years ago, the state come in on the 19th Street Bridge and they did a load test on it. And they determined that that bridge on 19th Street was not strong enough to keep the transfer trucks. So they kept them from doing that, and that caused chaos. I mean, trucks are going around everywhere. We've asked University of Kentucky. They're a little bit slow, but we're on the list to have that retested again. And ultimately, if that were to, if they were to go ahead and open that back up to 19th Street, then that would really help us. We could put signs for the truck route. Truck route is on state roads, Kevin, if I'm not, that's why it zigs and zags around where Salmon's is, because that's a state road, and the state roads are about the only ones that's able to handle the trucks. Now, 15th Street is an exception. On 15th Street, we put extra thick blacktop from Salisbury Avenue all the way back to Walmart because we knew the trucks were going to go on there. But your point's well taken, and Kevin, you and I can get together and find out. But now on this GPS coordinates, I mean, I don't know, I think we had one stuck on Lake Hill. And I don't know how, I mean, you're up on Lake Hill, how do you get a transfer truck on Lake Hill?
And since you're mentioning Lake
It's
Hill,
GPS, they're using their GPS,
Right.
and the GPS doesn't always take them on a correct street.
Well, that's
That's
true.
correct.
Can I make one follow-up comment?
Yes, sir.
Has this government body, I don't think that, since I've been aware, has we ever submitted a formal request to the state of Kentucky to reinstate the truck route, like signed by every member of this government? Would that help? I mean, if put it in writing in a formal letter?
Until we get the bridge, the 19th Street Bridge active again, I don't know an alternative for the trucks to go from 19th Street unless they all went Cumberland Avenue.
I just wonder if we put a formal request in that for somebody to come in and do, I don't know, signed by everybody, I don't know if that would get any more action.
You still
It's
see
just
them
an
going down
idea.
19.
Yeah, well, they still.
I mean,
still do,
they
yeah.
come
The
down
ones that-
19th, that bridge has been there for 100, yeah.
All right.
Now, Brooks, one more subject.
Yes.
You said those two words, Lake Hill.
Mhm.
I know that the city has been instrumental in helping out getting that area fixed. The county's been instrumental. A lot of folks are wondering, from the city standpoint, maybe Kevin can address it, what is the water pipe situation in that
Okay.
area? And is Middlesboro in any danger of losing water?
Well, a couple of notes on that. You brought up something that's kind of important. Up on Queensbury and Lake Hill, we've had a lot of slippage, and Tim has worked with the Division of Surface Mine, and we think there's mines under there. So FEMA is going to come in and look at that. But, you know, all this is related to the water pipe issue, which is in the county. You know, Kevin, have you got an update from Junior?
I talked to Mike at the water company today.
Okay.
There's a 24-inch main comes off the hill, 16 and an 8 inch. The 8's been replaced, the 16th wasn't disturbed. The 24 did break in two. Mike got in touch with this company, they're going to replace the 24 in the next coming days. But it's got to be contracted out with this 24-inch main line.
That's a big pipe.
But Mike said we've still got a 16-inch and an 8-inch line feeding it, so no danger about it.
And we helped with that effort, the county, and we helped the water company.
The county and the water company, because it is the county section of the road that's out of the city limits. So we let them use their backhoe, we gravel, we do everything we can do to make sure.
Okay, let's go on to number 12, do we have any comments from the council? How about you, Bill?
I do have one.
All right.
We have been beat up and down and sideways about this needle exchange program. And Angela, I think I've heard you several times, and I've been quiet about it. But some of the things that I have to consider is that if we adopt that program in Middlesboro, then our small cities that are joining us, Tennessee, Virginia, we're going to start pulling, and this is things that I have to consider. I didn't say I agree or disagree, but we'll start pulling the people that uses drugs into the city to receive needles. And I have to look from a council standpoint, I have to look at the whole thing. Whether it's my child that's down there on the street using drugs or not. I can't take it as a personal thing because the folks that voted for me didn't vote for me to be personal about anything. I have to take the city in consideration. So it ain't just a matter of sitting up here skinning and grinning and not agreeing with anything. But we have to look at the city as a whole. I do. And I think I could probably speak for the rest of us. We have to look at Middlesboro as a whole. Now, the lady that come down and briefed us not too long ago, the data that they had through Knox County, they could not tell us, or they didn't tell me, after they've had that program for 4.5, 5 years, what benefit did it produce as far as giving drug addicts clean needles? They did tell us, and I don't have the figure, they told us that Middlesboro drug addicts is going to Knox County to pick up needles. Now, if Middlesboro drug addicts is going all the way to Knox County to pick up needles, what do you think Tazewell and New Tazewell and Jonesville and all those other folks that's in Virginia, where do you think they're going to go? My opinion, and I haven't made up my mind yet, but my opinion, they will flood Middlesboro. And then I'll have to hear from constituents about, look what y'all have done just to give drug addicts a clean needle. That's what I have to take into consideration. Now, I didn't speak to start an argument. I just spoke as a council member telling you and anybody else out there what I have to consider when I vote either yay or nay about the needle exchange. And I don't think, as far as I'm concerned, I don't mind if I vote against it. I don't mind telling you that I vote against it, and I'll tell you the reason why.
Amen.
Okay? That's just the person that I am. But I won't put everybody else on that spot. So I just thought I'd let you know. There's a lot of things we have to consider. If we're voted in as council members, then we're voted in for the city of Middlesboro. Not Bill Smith, not anyone else, but the city of Middlesboro. And we have to take the city as a whole in consideration to everything that we do. This ain't a personal thing.
Well said.
No, public comment's already over. Do we have any other council?
I'd like to make a note from last meeting.
Yes.
I hate to follow that one, but Ms. Johnson brought up a good point about our motion for well, Jackie Sloan to receive our copy of our bank financial statements. I think we might want to add a note in this meeting that if we ever terminate her services, those copies stop going to her.
I think Romeo brought that up before.
Yeah, that's why I think we need to go back and correct that from our last meeting.
Who else from the council has a comment or question? All right, let's go on to number 13, sorry. I want to go over 2 or 3 things with you. First of all, I think Bill, you did an excellent job, and you know, all of us, we have to look at the whole picture of everything, which brings me to the pool. You know, last year we had to close the swimming pool, but we still had some folks, Chief, they would rather for us to have the pool open as for you to have tires for your fire truck. I mean, I'm serious. They had no realization that you look at a big picture of something, and you have to do your police, your fire, your ambulance, your street. That's your priorities. So we had to close the pool last year, and I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't lose any sleep on it because I thought it was the right thing to do. And I told the council, anything bad goes on, you can always blame me. And if it's something good, you can take credit for it. But all of us are not only educated, but we've got common sense. We're different fields from out in the community. But I do want to mention the pool. Now, we have money in the budget for recreation. It's about $35,000. So I'm going to ask Boone if you would consider, Boone, we need to start getting some data and an outline of having the pool open. And the only thing I asked you, you'll have to bring it to us for approval, but we have to have a charge. Pineville charges $3. And we have to have, we can't have 150 kids in there. Folks, have you ever been anywhere where there were so many people that you couldn't have a good time? And I think our pool had deteriorated the year before, so it was every person for itself. So we have to have a strong person to be the pool manager for that. And we're going to give you $35,000 or $40,000 worth. That may be 3 days a week. We're going to rent it out. But Boone, you need to start, and I'll give you some, LMU would be a good resource. We've asked some other entities if they would help us. But would you mind leading that to at least get us an outline as we move forward? Okay, very good. We applied for a small grant back in the fall, and we received a $4,200 litter grant. And folks, I'm gonna be frank with you, I'm ashamed of the litter that's in Middlesboro. I have driven about everywhere, and you know, Kevin knows this, Junior Maiden and Glenn Webb are the best 2 magistrates in the county. And they have people pick up litter on Monday, and Friday you can't even tell it. So I'm hoping that our schools, maybe we can ask our schools to do an educational program on that. And Kevin, y'all pick up litter all the time too, don't you? So if you can, I know I go out and pick up around my area, but you might have to pick up somebody else's pop bottle that they threw down, because that's being a good citizen and a good neighbor. You pick up stuff that you didn't do. Now, I tell you, I've never saw anything like it. If, as a young boy, that wouldn't happen because we'd all picked up the pop bottles and took them back and got 3 cents for them and been rich. But now that's not the case. So this litter grant, we will help, maybe help pick up some more. We're also going to have a tire amnesty program, which is it April, Kevin? We're going to work with the county, and maybe we can go pick up. You're supposed to take them all the way up to the 109 board, but we're going to work on a little project where we can help you citizens in the area that's got some tires laying around the house, and we might have a pickup for that. Now, somebody asked me the other day, the service stations, why weren't they allowed to take their tires in free? And you know the answer to that is because when you get new tires put on, they charge you anywhere from $2.50 to what, Terry, $5? And they're supposed to take that money for a tire, and they're supposed to dispose of them. But you can go anywhere in Middlesboro at the people that put tires on. I bet you most of them, not all, will have a stack of tires that they should have got rid of. So that might be something, Tim, that sometimes you have to put a burr under people's saddle. But you know, if they've got a bunch of tires laying around, it seems like to me that's litter. And they're going to have to step to the plate and do what they need to do on that. A couple of other things. The record service. I want to invite you the next time we have a record service meeting to come and join us, Tim, because it was very interesting. We've got 4 record services now, And if you'll notice, council, you got a form on your sheet here, and we'll give it to anybody who wants it. There was some banner that some of the record services are charging outrageous fees, where one service will charge $250 for a wreck, the other service charged $1,000 for the same wreck. Now, the way it works, you sign an agreement with the city, and Monday might be John Doe's day, and Tuesday, and it goes throughout there. So we do a rotation. But I'd like to ask the council, and Terry, this would probably be yours since it's streets. It was suggested that maybe if you want to be a record service for Middlesboro, that maybe you would sign an agreement that these guidelines would go. I think we need to do that. There was one company we were told about that charged $50 for opening their gate to let your car in. You know, that should be free. I mean, you're opening the gate anyway to get there, right? So we've got some problems with it, but I think we can address them and make it fair for everyone. And the ones I'm worried about is the citizen out there doesn't have insurance, they've just wrecked, they've had a flat, they don't have $1,000, they probably don't have $250. But we need to make sure we get involved in that. And Terry, I'd like to ask you as street department person to take this, and we'll get together with you, maybe we can come up with a document that council will agree to. Okay? All right, has anybody else got a comment or question on the council? I think that's all I have. Boone's taking care of the pool. Terry's going to take care of the record service. I might want to mention real quick the Offer building. It's a great building. I've applied for a grant to fix that, but folks, that's deteriorating every day.
Yeah. It's in bad shape.
And we're going to need $300,000 or $500,000. And I just think we're going to have to make a decision on that building pretty soon if we don't get some outside money.
Yeah.
So anyway,
It needs to be saved.
our next meeting, work session, Philip, Tuesday, March the 10th, 2020. Date of the next regular council meeting, Tuesday, March 17th, year of our Lord 2020. Let's have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
And a second. All in favor say aye. Council, you hang around so we can get a
Thanks for reminding Boone.
photograph.
Yearbook ad. And that to the mayor.